Okay, the Sadnansi episode is here, and today I'm giving you a complete scene-by-scene summary of everything that happened in this episode. No theories today, no deep analysis, just a clean, detailed breakdown of the full episode so you know exactly what went down. And if you want the theory videos, the analysis videos, and all the hidden detail breakdowns that are coming after this, make sure you subscribe and turn on notifications because those videos are on the way. But right now, let's get into the episode. So the episode opens and we're immediately thrown into Marinette's headspace. And right away, you can feel the weight she's carrying. She's holding Gabriel's letter, just sitting there with it. And for anyone who needs a quick reminder, this is the letter Gabriel left behind before everything ended. This is not a casual piece of paper. This letter contains everything. It explains who Gabriel really was, it explains his role as Hawkmoth, it explains the truth about Emily's condition and what Gabriel did trying to save her. Every dark secret that Adrien has been kept away from is sitting inside this letter that Marinette is holding in her hands. And Marinette is at a crossroads right now. She's been carrying this for a while. She's been telling herself she's protecting Adrien by hiding it, but something has shifted in her thinking this episode. She's starting to face the reality that protecting Adrien from this truth might actually be hurting him more than the truth itself would. Because if their relationship is going to be real, if it's going to be built on something solid and honest, then Adrien deserves to know who his father actually was. He deserves to know the full picture of his own life. And Marinette is finally starting to accept that. But here's the thing. Knowing you need to do something and actually doing it are two completely different challenges. Because this truth isn't just uncomfortable, this truth will devastate Adrien. His father wasn't just someone who made mistakes. His father was a person who endangered all of Paris, who manipulated people, who caused enormous suffering. And Adrien loved his father, still loves him on some level. So telling him this isn't just going to hurt, it's going to shatter something fundamental in Adrien's understanding of his own life. Marinette knows this. She feels the weight of it every second. Still, she's telling herself that when the moment comes, she'll be there. She'll stay beside Adrien through the pain. She'll comfort him. She won't just drop the truth and walk away. She'll be present for every difficult moment that follows. But the question is whether she can actually get to that moment, whether she can push through her own fear long enough to actually say the words. And this episode adds another dimension to Marinette's internal conflict, because it's not just about Gabriel's letter, it's about the pattern she's fallen into. Marinette realizes in this episode that she's been lying constantly as Ladybug for so long that it's starting to bleed into every part of her life. She's lying to protect people, she's lying to avoid pain, she's lying because she thinks it's the right thing to do. But all those lies are slowly eating her alive. And she doesn't want to be that person with Adrien. She doesn't want to be someone who hides things from the person she loves most. She's so done with this version of herself that she actually reaches a point where she considers ending the relationship entirely. Not because she stopped caring about Adrien, the complete opposite. She considers walking away because she can't stand lying to him anymore, because staying in the relationship while carrying all these secrets feels dishonest in a way she can't live with. That's how heavy this has gotten for her. The idea of walking away from Adrien feels less painful than continuing to pretend everything is fine. And that tells you everything about where Marinette's mental state is right now. She makes herself a quiet promise in this moment that she's going to tell him, that she's going to find the strength to do it, and that when she does, she'll be right there beside him to help him through whatever comes next. It's a promise she makes to herself more than anyone else. Whether she'll keep it is a different story. Okay, so after that heavy opening, the episode shifts to a completely different atmosphere. We move to the cafe where Marinette and her friends are all hanging out together. And the energy here is lighter on the surface, more casual. Everyone is just spending time together. But even in this casual setting, the episode immediately sets up its secondary storyline. Nora and Twig are both there, and look, if you have eyes, you can see it. There is something going on between these two. The way Nora acts when Twig is around, the way Twig glances at her when she's not looking, the little moments where they almost say something and then pull back. Everyone in the group has already noticed it. Everyone is quietly talking about it amongst themselves. These two clearly have feelings for each other, but neither one of them is willing to say it out loud. So Nino does what Nino does. He reads the room and decides to help move things along in the most Nino way possible. He suggests a game. Simple concept. Everyone takes turns sharing something true about themselves, and the others have to guess whether what they said is actually true or just something they made up. It's an easy, low-pressure way to get people talking. No big declarations required, just casual conversation that might accidentally lead somewhere real. And at first, the game is exactly that. Casual, fun. People sharing little things about themselves, everyone laughing. The atmosphere is easy. But games like this have a way of getting deeper than anyone expects, because once people start talking about themselves genuinely, the barriers start coming down. And this game is no different. As the rounds continue, Nora's past starts coming up. Things about her life, things about what she's been through, and alongside that, Twig's feelings become harder and harder to conceal. You can see it in the way he responds to things she says, the way he pays attention to every word, the way his whole energy changes when she's the one speaking. And eventually, the game pushes things to a point where Twig can't hold back anymore. He steps out of the game format entirely, he stops talking in hypotheticals and abstractions, and he just says it directly. He tells Nora that he has feelings for her, that he cares about her, that this isn't just friendship for him. And Nora's reaction in that moment is complicated. Because on the surface, she seems to pull back, she seems to reject it. But it's not that simple, and the episode makes that clear. Nora's feelings aren't clean and uncomplicated. They're messy, they're real. And on top of everything else, there's this enormous practical problem sitting in the middle of all of this. Nora is leaving for Shanghai. This isn't some vague future thing. This is actually happening. She's going. And this confession from Twig lands right in the middle of that reality. Because what does it mean to admit you have feelings for someone right before you leave? What does it mean to let yourself want something that geography is about to make impossible? Does it make the leaving harder? Does it make staying impossible? Does it change anything at all, or does it just add more pain to an already painful situation? Nora is sitting with all of these questions at once, and the weight of them is visible. There's this genuinely tense stretch in the episode where the two of them are just existing in this awkward, uncomfortable emotional space, neither fully moving forward nor fully pulling back, just suspended in the difficulty of what's been said and what hasn't been said yet. And then, finally, after all that tension, it breaks open. They both admit it. Nora admits that she has feelings for Twig too. Twig's feelings are already out there, and for a moment there's this emotional release, like, okay, we both feel this, it's real, it's mutual. But then reality settles back in, because admitting it doesn't solve anything. It doesn't change the Shanghai situation, it doesn't make the distance disappear. If anything, it makes everything more complicated. Because now they're both fully aware of what they're walking away from. Now the loss has a name and a face and a specific feeling attached to it. And that makes it heavier, not lighter. While all of this is happening with Nora and Twig, the episode keeps cutting back to Marinette. And there's this other, smaller problem running parallel to everything else. Adrien asked Marinette to paint a portrait of Gabriel for him. He wants something to remember his father by, something personal and meaningful. And Marinette said yes. She told him she could do it. But she can't. Not really. Because how do you paint a loving portrait of someone you know was Hawkmoth? How do you sit down and create something beautiful and tender, dedicated to a person whose actions you know caused so much harm? Marinette is stuck. She said yes because she didn't want to disappoint Adrien. She didn't want to have a conversation she wasn't ready to have. So she just agreed. And now she's sitting with another lie. A smaller one than Gabriel's letter, but a lie on top of a lie on top of a lie. And Tiki isn't letting this go. Tiki looks at Marinette and says simply that she needs to tell the truth. Not just about the portrait, about all of it. Because Tiki has been watching Marinette carry this weight, and she can see what it's doing to her. She can see the cracks forming. Marinette's friends are also picking up on it. Not the specifics necessarily, they don't all know exactly what Marinette is hiding, but they can sense that something is wrong, and they're telling her in their own ways that keeping secrets doesn't work, that the truth comes out eventually, no matter what. And when it comes out after being buried for a long time, the damage is always worse than if it had been said honestly in the first place. And Marinette is listening to all of this. She's absorbing it, but she's paralyzed. Because knowing what you need to do and having the courage to actually do it are two different things entirely. She's standing at the edge of this decision. Should she tell Adrien the truth now and watch him fall apart, but be there to help him through it? Or should she stay silent a little longer and risk an even more catastrophic collapse later when she has no control over how or when the truth comes out? She's going back and forth. She can't land on an answer. And it's right in the middle of all this emotional chaos across multiple characters all at once that the episode's main threat arrives. Sadnansi emerges. And this akuma is different from a lot of the ones we've seen because of what it's specifically targeting. Sadnansi is drawn to romantic pain, to heartbreak, to the confusion and grief that comes with loving someone and not being sure if that love is worth the suffering it brings. And think about how much of that energy is floating around in this episode. Nora and Twig trying to figure out what their feelings mean when distance is about to separate them. Marinette drowning in the guilt and pressure of keeping secrets from the person she loves. All of that pain is exactly what this akuma feeds on. It's in the right place at the right time. Sadnansi's mission is essentially to prove a point, to show Paris and everyone in it that love is weakness, that opening yourself up to another person just guarantees you'll get hurt, that the smart thing is to close yourself off and stop caring. And Ladybug keeps pushing back. She keeps arguing that love is strength, that connection is worth the risk, that the pain that comes with love doesn't cancel out its value. And watching Marinette argue this point while simultaneously hiding a devastating secret from the person she loves most adds this whole other layer to the fight. She's not just fighting the akuma, she's fighting her own fear. She's trying to convince herself of the things she's saying out loud. Lucky Charm activates and Ladybug receives the clue she needs to form a plan. The team coordinates. Cat Noir provides his cataclysm support at exactly the right moment. The battle builds in intensity as they work to corner Sadnansi, and the momentum shifts in their favor. Eventually, they isolate the akuma. Ladybug purifies it. The miraculous Ladybug reversal brings everything back to normal. Paris is safe again. After the battle concludes, the episode returns to Nora and Twig for their final scene together. And this conversation feels different from everything earlier. The game is over, the tension of the confession has passed. Now they're just two people being completely honest with each other about a genuinely difficult situation. They both say clearly that they care about each other, that these feelings are real, that this wasn't just a moment or a misunderstanding. And they sit together with the reality that their lives are pulling them in different directions. Shanghai is still happening. That hasn't changed. But they make a decision together. They're going to stay in contact. They're going to keep seeing each other when it's possible. They're not going to pretend the feelings don't exist. And they're not going to make each other a promise they can't keep. It's honest, it's mature, and there's a real sadness underneath it that the episode doesn't try to cover up with a neat, happy bow. This is what real feelings in complicated circumstances actually look like, and the episode treats it with the respect it deserves. The episode's main narrative closes on Marinette, and she's exactly where she was at the beginning in terms of her decision. Gabriel's letter is still there, the truth is still waiting, the pressure on her hasn't decreased. If anything, after everything that happened in this episode, the weight feels heavier because she watched what honesty looked like between Nora and Twig, and she knows she's not there yet. She knows she's still hiding, and she tells herself one thing clearly at the end. There is no escape from the truth. It will come out. One way or another, at some point, everything she's been hiding is going to surface. And the only question left is whether she gets to control how that happens, or whether the situation takes that control away from her. But then the episode adds one final scene that quietly changes everything about what's coming next. After all the major events have wrapped up, the camera follows Alya. And Alya's alone, and she's thinking, not about the akuma, not about Nora and Twig, she's thinking about Marinette. She's been paying attention to things, small things, the way Marinette has been acting lately, the inconsistencies, the moments where Marinette's reaction to something doesn't quite make sense, the times when Marinette seems like she's holding something back. Alya has been collecting all of these observations, and now she's sitting alone trying to figure out what they add up to. She hasn't solved it yet, she doesn't have a complete picture, but her instincts are telling her that she's close to something important, that there's a truth hiding just beneath the surface of her best friend's behavior. And Alya, being Alya, makes herself a quiet but firm promise. She's going to figure this out. Whatever Marinette is hiding, she's going to find it. And that's where the episode ends. The Nora and Twig story reaches its bittersweet resolution, Marinette remains standing at the edge of her impossible decision, and Alya has just become the most unpredictable new variable in a situation that was already incredibly fragile. That is your complete summary of the Sadnansi episode. Everything that happened from start to finish. If you want the theory videos, the analysis of what Alya figuring things out actually means for the rest of the season, and all the breakdowns of the smaller details buried inside this episode, make sure you subscribe and hit the notification bell so you don't miss anything. Drop a comment telling me which part of this episode hit the hardest for you, and I will see you in the next video. Take care of yourselves.